Oh no, this is good. Trust me. Hopefully that frame is not total hogwash.
Hogwash.
Hey, do we use our names?
I don't even know. Do you want to? Do you wanna?
Our names have such a good ring.
You do. They do have a good ring. I don't know. Were we planning on kind of calling this after our names?
I was.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah,
I was
think
thinking-
that's fine.
The longest title I've thought of is Bedroom Minutes with Jeff and Lauren. But that sounds sexual.
Not necessarily.
I say why not just shorten it to Jeff and Lauren? I
Yeah.
googled it. I googled Jeff and Lauren before this, and all that comes up is Jeff Bezos and the Lauren that he has.
Oh.
I was wondering if I was gonna come here and say on the podcast that Jeff Bezos is an ugly little goblin man, but here we are.
Yeah.
Jeff Bezos, if you're watching, nothing personal, dude. You're just an ugly little goblin, dude. Look at him.
I don't
All
know if
that
I know what
Amazon
to say.
controversy.
Yeah.
That Amazon workers in terrible working conditions.
Right.
He's a little goblin, if you ask me.
I thought that Jeff and Lauren from Tiger King would come up.
You know what? They actually didn't.
That's interesting.
They didn't. Jeff and Lauren from Tiger King. They're another Jeff and Lauren.
Yeah. They're the only.
Not a great situation. Not Lauren's fault.
Yeah, no.
That's. See, it's always a bad Jeff with a perfectly innocent Lauren.
Yeah. With a perfectly normal Lauren. Yeah. Well. Yeah, so.
Jeff and Lauren. We'll just call it that for now on.
Yeah. Because he's Jeff and I'm Lauren.
There you go. Lauren, you just graduated from college. Congratulations.
Thank you. I did just graduate. And that's why we're doing this, is there's finally time to do something.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's really, this type of setup is really good for this time right now. Just because I really need relaxing. I really need, I need the ease of just unwinding from school and just from being in school nonstop for, I guess.
So do viewers.
Yeah.
Well, and also a break from all the sunshine from the summer solstice coming up. That's why we've got it dark in here.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. When did I start school, I guess? I guess I was 5? Because I didn't do any of that pre-K stuff.
Right.
I started in kindergarten,
Where they have you drifting donuts and a Mercedes AMG at the age of 3.
Right.
And they've got you, speaking the Greek alphabet.
Yeah, no.
Is it a Greek alphabet? Or do I sound ignorant as fuck right now?
Yeah, no, like Greek letters, like the
okay.
frat houses.
Yeah, frat house stuff.
Like,
okay, thank God.
Omega, Kappa, Delta stuff. But
Like any good Jeff in the relationship, I'm interrupting and distracting from the point that you're trying to make about your own life.
what was I saying?
What were you saying?
Oh yeah, just it's really hard to determine had a, I guess, I don't know, it's just so weird because just you're in school nonstop from the age of 5 to the age of 22, and then suddenly school's over and it's time to just do other shit to fill your time. And
Like the exact same thing except a different setting because that's all school seems to prepare you for.
yeah, I guess.
But
but no,
do you bite?
but right, but no. Like I just want to find more fruitful ways of using my time than I ever really was capable of doing in school, because school just, yeah, the thing is just I'd always try and initiate something while I was in school, but it never really go much of anywhere because school always had to like come first and be like the first priority. You know, I had to make sure school was like in check, and so just everything else would always take a back seat. And now I just don't have that anymore, and I can kind of choose like what's my driving thing now. What do I want it to be? And it can just be anything, and that's just an unusual thing, you know. It's just a really weird feeling. But I mean, I'm happy, and I'm not scared, which I'm really thankful for that, because I used to be really scared of this, of the idea of this. I wasn't one of those people who was ready to be in the world after high school. I didn't want high school to end when it ended, but that's why, you know.
Right. Not saying
I went
that
to
high
college.
school is great. It's just like we haven't found ourselves enough to like go out and be a real person or like feel like a real grown up,
Yeah,
like an identity and a purpose.
right. And my high school was nice. It was nice, and I did like it, but it was right. No, it wasn't fantastic, but yeah, I wouldn't have known what to do with myself if I was already out in the world after high school. And I'm not saying I do entirely know what I want to do with myself now. I'm just not scared of having to or being able to, being expected to find something to do with myself now. I'm not like scared of it
Yeah.
anymore.
A lot of people in college, people say college is where you find yourself and it's not really where you go to learn per se. That really depends on the person. A lot of people go to college and like they needed to, like they actually like learn hard skills. But a lot of people like us don't really get a degree in something super needed or all that specific even. So like what we'll wind up focusing on in college is finding ourselves. I feel like the people who like freak out when they graduate are the people who didn't work on themselves,
Yeah.
and didn't work on like resolving trauma or developing their style or developing their morals or developing their identity, or even down to things like developing a sense of faith or committing to not developing faith. It's all the people who just really haven't changed as people since high school,
Yeah.
but they've learned a lot, but they haven't really changed. I feel like those are the people who freak out
Yeah.
the Monday after graduation when they wake up and they just don't have class to go to.
Right. And you'll never have class like
And of course
again,
they
unless
right.
you choose to go to grad
And of
school.
course as they get jobs they take that like way more seriously and personally, because jobs are the only thing that they worked up to, whereas people like us, when we graduate and we have to take a job that we don't like that compromises our ability to work on ourselves, then we get really upset because it's like we just spent all of college trying to develop this code of morals and ideals that I am now violating to satisfy my new job.
Right.
Especially if you're going into a corporate position, which I tried to and I couldn't.
Yeah, and you're dealing with that now because you graduated a year ago. So you've
Yes.
been like out of college for a year. This is my first day.
First day
I
of
graduated yesterday, so yeah.
It's just interesting to see where different how different college students feel, and how we both have the same feeling of like, no, we don't really have a career, set up, we don't really have any financial security at all or career security. It's more of a case of we have us security and we have like moral security. We feel like we've been living in the real adult world for years already.
Yeah.
We don't feel like we're just being thrown to the wolves around people who don't give a fuck about our degrees and our education. We're used to that.
Yeah.
We're used to making like adult conversations in public about like the world and us, not about school. We're used to talking to people outside of college on a regular basis.
Oh yeah.
Lots of college students aren't, and that's not to knock them because their advantage is that they actually have a career.
Yeah.
Good for them.
And I started there, and I started college not being able to really talk about anything else besides school and college. And I
Same.
had kind of a crisis going into my second year of college. My sophomore year, I kind of had a crisis. Like, it just got to me, and I was like, man, I don't have friends. I don't have, like, real, life experiences. I can't really I don't talk about anything besides, like, class with people. It just didn't feel good anymore. I was like, I feel like it's high time to grow out of this in some kind of way. Even if I still have to be a college student for a few more years, like, I just feel like I should develop some kind of identity, but you can't really do that without experiences. And so it was time to get some experiences, and then a lot of experiences hit me come sophomore year. More than I was really ready for.
Right.
But I was ready, and I dealt with it, and I've dealt with it just fine. It was just, there was traumatic experiences within those. But,
Cracking my knuckles as you say that. Like, no, it wasn't anything like that.
Yeah.
We weren't together yet.
Yeah, no. We met in March of 2018.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were in a class together.
Yes, right. We were in a class together and whatnot.
It's a whole different story.
It is a whole different story.
When we talk about manipulative assholes,
Mm-hmm.
And desperate ex-boyfriends, that
Yeah.
maybe those details will come up in the podcast.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's something at least worth talking about. Yeah, it's something, it's a discussion that I think could benefit people
Of course.
who have dealt with relationship-related trauma and shit like that. Yeah, I could definitely level with people about that kind of stuff. And you can too.
Yeah. Yeah, we had both just been through a lot of dramatic relationships leading up to that point.
Yeah. I'd only been through, like, one
Well, right.
other
You'd been through one
but
that was worse than
horrifying.
any of my relationships.
Yeah, no, it was, like, horrible.
But hey, it's cool. It's cool when you have all those experiences and you start to wonder if, like, you're the crazy one, or you're the jerk, or you're the one who just can't make it work out, and then you find somebody who proves you wrong and makes you realize that you're not perfect and you have things to work on maybe, but like you were reasonable all along.
Yeah.
And that those other people, those other partners who hurt you, were just insecure or controlling or just kind of careless people.
Yeah. Which was the case for me in the previous situation. But yeah, so like I had those experiences, come second half of my sophomore year and leading into junior year. And then by senior year we were together, and I've been able to grow a lot in my in my relationship with you. I've been able to grow a lot and, become a lot more independent.
Yeah.
Especially just in terms of many things, in terms of, like, dealing with how I deal with trauma, how I dealt with it, how I kind of was able to get over it, as well as just, like, skill-based stuff. I've been able to learn how to cook some stuff. whereas before I didn't know how to cook anything. It's little things as well as big things that go into shaping a kind of confidence that goes into post graduation adulthood.
Oh yeah.
There's like little things that you learn and
Cutting your own hair.
yeah. Yeah, no, for real. I like shaved my head around a year ago, right? I feel like it's been about
No, it hasn't been that long. You were stuffing your hair into wigs for a minute, and then eventually we went full.
Yeah, I don't remember.
I don't remember actually. Certainly last fall, I think.
Yeah.
You started shaving your head.
A year ago, I might have still had hair, and then just some months, months ago, I shaved my head, and it was a great decision. It was immediately an empowering thing for me. Not even in a feminist way per se. Above all else, it was just freeing, to feel like I could finally kind of have full control over how I look, in the form of like wearing wigs and stuff. Because the deal breaker was I popped on a black wig over my natural hair, and I was just like, oh my god, that actually, like, the look worked more than I expected it to, and
right.
And I was just delighted, and I just realized, like, wow, I could do so many different looks and they'll work. And whereas before I just thought, my blonde curly hair was all I could really work with. And then, yeah, no, and then I tried some things with my blonde curly hair. I dyed it black. I dyed it blue by accident first, and that was actually kind of fun for a second. And then I dyed it black, and then eventually just ended up shaving it bald, and now I wear wigs and stuff. Yeah. Yeah. And I'm very happy with it. I'm very happy with my wigs, and I'm very happy with how I feel. Shaving my head was immediately, like, it immediately gave me, like, a sense of agency just over my whole self that I feel like was really essential for a lot of the changes I've made, a lot of the development I've had over the past several months. So, to the point where I would recommend it to many people, like,
yeah,
especially if, like, you grew up with your hair being kind of a big deal for you.
I did. That's why
Yeah.
That's why I did it in the first place. I was 18 and getting ready to go to college. I was freshly heartbroken, of course, and I was like, hair had been an insecurity for me too, because my hair grows really thick. Like, I have super small, thick hair, and it's hard to manage. And before it got trendy to shave the sides in the 2010s or whatever, this is the early 2010s still, because I was a teenager. Yeah, my hair would just be kind of fluffy all around. I always looked like I was wearing a Spaceballs helmet,
Yeah.
but like a dirty blonde Spaceballs helmet. And yeah, I cut it for the first time, and my parents were saying, you're gonna be a musician. You don't want to do that. The way you look is gonna be really important. Don't do that. And I was like, no, because not everybody does a good job cutting hair.
Right.
A lot of the time,
Yes.
or even if they're a great hairstylist, they don't know your hair as well as you have the potential to know your hair. So I was like, you know what, screw it, I'm just gonna start cutting my hair. And of course, the first couple of haircuts were dorky.
Yeah.
But I just bought a hair clipper, and then scissors, and I've used the same set ever since. And what really inspired to do it was watching Fight Club, which it was the first time I'd seen Fight Club, and I was 18 and heartbroken. So out of the many interpretations of Fight Club you can take, my interpretation was, fuck women. I'm a man. I'm going to do what I want. I don't care if I look dorky to girls. Whatever. Which is a very base level moral to take away from Fight Club. And of course, I rewatched it dozens of times, and every time I rewatch it, I get a more ascended message from it. But at that time, that was extremely impactful, and it was necessary. It was necessary. My own sense of rebellion about being handsome. Which I'm not equating to your situation because you didn't do this to rebel against men. And a lot of women do it to rebel against men, which is fine if they're at that stage in their life, that's fine. And that's the stage that I was at with dating women. I was rebelling against it just because I had been made to feel so dorky by the particular ex who had hurt me. So that's when I started cutting my own hair, but I realized that, yeah, there was so much control over it. I think that for women, it is a great idea to shave your head and to wear wigs. And then for men, the equivalent would be, just cutting and styling your own hair. I think it's so worth it. And that's something that we both discovered around college. And
you were the one who was always telling me about, like,
to shave your damn hair.
He was always the one, I was like, whatever, man. I didn't believe it for a long time. I had to come around to it. I would get upset.
Not even at me saying that. You get upset at your own hair, and I'd be like, just shave it off then. You wouldn't look bad bald.
Yeah, no. It was just a big source of insecurity for me for many years. And God, related to what you were saying, you were so right about, like, just hairdressers. The real last straw for me was multiple, like, different bad hairdresser experiences of people who just claimed so-called, like, curly hair specialists who just, like, destroyed my head and made it look like crap, and I was just so fed up. I was just so mad at them. And, just for many years growing up, my hair naturally is very thick and coarse and dry and curly.
Ethnic.
And my mom is, like, part Cuban. And it could be from her. My hair does look a good deal like my mom's does. Or at least like my mom's used to. Her hair has kind of changed over the years, but it does look a good deal like hers. But my dad had also thick curly hair too, so it's kind of.
Oh, there you go.
It could just be a combination of them. I don't know, but yeah, growing up, I mean, like, I'd see the girls in my class and they had the like the shiny, silky, like thinner than my hair, but like just like nice looking straight like white girl hair, like and I always wanted that hair. I always wished I had that growing up because they could always I'd envy how they could just put it up in a ponytail for half of the day and like pull it down and do like whatever they wanted with it at any moment of the day, and it would just like look great. And whereas me, like, my hair, basically I'd go to school with it in like a kind of braid thing down the back, and I would take it out of the braid like halfway through the day maybe because I just wanted to, and it could be like wavy or whatever, and that was like growing up in elementary school. That stopped after a while. After a while, my hair was just literally a ball of frizz, and I didn't really learn how to style it. I like tried to come to school with it styled in curly ways, but I just couldn't really do anything that I really liked with it. It just kind of had a mind of its own, and it wanted to just stick out in weird places, and yeah. And, there were times where people at school made comments about it that hurt my feelings. And it just made me not, like, want, it made me not want to have that kind of hair anymore. I was really fed up about it. And come high school, I was getting it straightened. I was having my hair straightened every week, for 3 years, for the first 3 years of high school. My senior year of high school, I actually started wearing it curly again just because one summer I think I was at the beach and I went swimming and I just decided, like, okay, I'm just gonna let it be curly and see how it looks. And that was when I finally started wearing it curly again. And then I came to college and I had my hair curly all the time. But it took a lot of maintenance, you know, a lot of like very specific hair products and, you know, gel and stuff to keep it in place. A really intricate process of just dealing with it, a wide tooth comb in the shower. It was just so difficult, you know, to deal with. But then in college, though, it became like a very identifying feature of me. And
Right,
like,
everybody recognized you by your hair.
yeah, and I would get like compared to like Tori Kelly or the girl from Ozark a lot because of my blonde curly hair. And I mean, honestly, like my like ex-boyfriend was pretty much drawn to me because of my hair. Pretty much.
Which was his hair.
And it wasn't his hair. His hair was shit.
No, sorry.
But
No,
like, that's
I'm
the
saying
joke,
that
is,
because
like,
people thought that you two were siblings.
yes, and like people like.
Well, I
would
was
say
gonna
that we
make a
look like
joke about
siblings.
Louisiana, and you know he's from you're from crisp Louisiana. You're from urban Louisiana.
Right.
He's from
Like-
Yeehaw, Louisiana, and he wanted to have some yeehaw adventures with somebody who maybe reminds him of his sister.
Yeah, pretty much. I guess.
I hope he watches this and sues us.
I hope so.
With what money? Is he gonna come into town on his horse with his lawyer riding behind him? Not in a carriage. He wouldn't have enough money for a carriage. With his lawyer riding behind him on his horse.
Yeah.
They uploaded a YouTube video and they said something gross about my sister.
Yeah, right.
I could.
He would spin it that way. Anyway, I'm not gonna talk about
That's
him
a
right
different.
now. But yeah, like
podcast.
people started to know me for my hair and recognize me for my hair, and like, you know, it was very noticeable around campus. No one else really had hair that looked like mine. And so it was a thing that I guess I like was really. So I was really tied to it, even though I was really tied to it not just because people would recognize me for it, but because by college I had gone through so much of a process of like overcoming insecurities about my hair being curly and shit. But I was still insecure, and I was still angry that I for so many years straightened my hair and felt ugly because I had the type of hair that I did. I was still angry, and I still had like insecurities about like, you know, why should I have had to do that, you know, and yeah. And so it was just a whole thing, and then eventually when I shaved my head, I didn't realize that, you know, that it would be as freeing as it was. Because I just kind of thought I'd have to live with my hair forever in some way or another, but yeah. But I just made it work. Yeah.
You want apple pie?
Apple pie. I'm good. I've eaten enough fatty food today. It's
Okay,
it kind of made me queasy.
Oh, that's right. That's how you're drinking the ginger tea.
Yeah. Yeah.
See, it's funny because I'm always trying to lose weight. You're always trying to gain weight. But I can really eat quite a bit and never feel like full or queasy. And we do eat the same things. But I can eat quite a bit and like never really get queasy. And then she struggles with getting queasy.
Yeah.
That's just kind of how your body is with food. Just not designed to eat that much.
Yeah, and I'm just not used to eating fats.
Right.
I don't eat that many. I mostly get like carbs and protein out of everything I eat every day.
Do you want a
I
tea
really don't
refill?
get fat.
I could boil some more water and put my tea bag in there.
Maybe. I'm okay with this right now.
Cool.
I think I'm good with it. Yeah. Yeah. So shaving my head was a big deal for getting somewhere in terms of feeling like an adult. feeling
Hair is
more
a
like
big
an
deal.
adult. It is.
Hair is a huge source of insecurity.
Yeah.
Just in general, that's a trip. See, that's an interesting
Yeah.
topic, you know? It's hair, and you had your journey with hair. Even I had my journey with hair, even though I'm lucky to have honestly pretty nice hair.
Yeah.
But
I think a lot of people, you know, it's just a thing. It is a source of a lot of insecurity. People insecure about losing their hair, about ruining their hair. You just think that, you know, we treat it like it doesn't grow back, you know?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And-
take risks. Always take risks with your hair. Experiment.
Yeah.
Experiment in your 20s. Have horrible hair in your 20s.
Yeah.
Have horrible. If you can, have horrible hair in your teenage years. But if you don't do it in your teenage years, right now, if you're watching and you're in your 20s and you haven't given yourself at least 5 terrible hairstyles,
Yeah.
then you're missing out.
Yeah.
You're missing out on potentially one of those mistakes turning into a great hairstyle. Everybody should get to a point where they find a hairstyle that they love. You know why? Because money and success can buy you really nice, good quality clothes that look great on you, maybe even better health that looks great on you, but no amount of money can buy you the correct hairstyle.
Yeah.
You have to experiment and you have to get a couple ugly haircuts.
Right.
And that's why I say just do it yourself.
Or try
because-
some wigs, too.
Try some wigs if you're a girl.
Or if you're a dude.
Or if you're a guy, yes, that
If
too.
you
I'm not
want.
leaving that out. But especially for girls, you know, try wigs, girls or guys. And then for men especially, or girls who, you know, you're just butch girls who, you know, want to have short hair and style it to look like a guy's haircut. Yeah, style it yourself.
Yeah.
You know, just experiment with it because you can get halfway through not like the direction you're going, and instead of having to speak up to a barber, you can just change it yourself, or you just have control. It's totally worth it. All you need is the buzzer, scissors, which I recommend you use as little as possible. Try to buzz as much of the hair as possible, and then a handheld mirror. So then you can go into the bathroom, put your back to the bathroom mirror, and then hold the handheld mirror in front of you and look into the handheld mirror so you can see your back and see behind.
Right.
And it'll take practice, but that's all you do.
Yeah.
It's worth it, man. You deserve to be in control of your hair
Yeah.
because money doesn't buy a good hairstyle.
Right.
Just look at famous people.
Yeah, no. Literally. It's true.
Look at famous people if you want evidence of that. And of course, you know, yeah, just people should feel way more willing to experiment with style in general.
Yeah.
With fashion. Fashion isn't shallow. Fashion isn't superficial. I mean, fashion is expressive.
It's important.
It's
I
important.
think it's important for a lot of people. I see a lot of, oftentimes when there's a person who dresses in a edgy or alternative way, I'll see a lot of like replies from people who just say like, you know, how do you have the confidence to dress the way that you do? You know, how do you develop like I don't know. I don't know what it is, confidence usually,
Right.
but they'll say like, yeah, just like I don't have that kind of, really I think it's just a lack of, what is it? Just a lack of resistance or just, how do you, repression?
You mean what, yeah, like what prevents people from doing this?
Yeah, or what allows some people to not, you know, to not feel...
Just not giving a fuck.
The restraint is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
It's restraint. Yeah. I feel bad for people who, you know, but because I've been there. I've been there.
Me too.
I've been
I
the
was there
person
as
with,
well.
yeah, we both had too much kind of restraint to be, for me, I always wanted to be kind of more dark or alternative
Same.
or whatever you wanted to
And as a
say.
guy,
Edgy.
it was me wanting to wear tighter clothes.
Yeah.
That was really hard. And things like leather pants, things that are like typically taboo
Right.
and made fun of.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
those things were really hard. In fact, in college, was the first time I ever started wearing leather pants in public.
Yeah.
Um, and just feeling okay in tighter clothes
Yeah.
and not feeling like that made me less of a man.
Right.
Or also not caring if people took that as a signal that I was gay and like just not giving a shit because it's not a big deal.
Right.
It just doesn't matter to me if people think I'm gay. That's fine.
Yeah.
That just weirdly took a minute to get used to
Yeah.
in my early 20s.
Yeah. No, it's the feeling of restraint definitely
Right.
comes from a concern of like, how are other people gonna think about me?
What are they going to think I'm trying to do?
Right.
Because you're not even trying to be attention seeking, you are just trying to express yourself.
Right.
Ultimately.
And there's, especially I think unfortunately for a lot of alternative stuff, I feel like there's a concern of like, what if I don't pull it off?
What if I look like a poser?
Right, what if I look like a poser and I don't pull it off, the extreme look that I want to do, and people make fun of me or say that I look like I'm trying too hard or that I'm just not pulling it off, and there's just a fear of getting that kind of
Right. And there's nothing to get out of that except that you have to just not give a fuck.
Yeah.
Let people think you're a poser.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because if you mean it, as long as you mean it, you're not a poser. As long as you're not doing it to impress anybody, you're automatically not a poser.
Right.
You are only a poser the moment you try to impress people. If you're just doing this for you,
if you're doing it because you like it, then
you like it, then you're not a poser.
And that's reason that's reason in itself to wear it. That's
the asshole who knows every single song and tour date of a band to prove he's not a poser is the fucking poser.
Right.
For wanting to prove himself or herself so badly.
Right.
They're the fucking poser. Just because you wear a Nirvana shirt and you don't know every single fucking tour date that they've ever done doesn't make you a poser.
No.
Even if there's only one Nirvana album that you like, well, okay, I would recommend, though, that you do choose the album
gatekeepers
artwork of that.
are usually the biggest posers.
Yes, I'm getting off track. No, that's totally true.
But yeah.
And we are saying this because we are very interested in, alternative dark goth culture, and I'm a metalhead, you're a metalhead, and in college, I tried to be in with the punk crowd, and it didn't go over at all.
Right.
I was always gatekept, and I went, you know what, fuck it. And then ultimately people started looking at me as more punk than the punks.
Right.
Because I was punk enough to not give a fuck what the punks wanted from me.
Right.
Yeah. I was like, no, fuck you, I like Killswitch Engage. I don't care if it's gay, I like it.
Yeah. No, it's just...
For example,
Yeah. You just create your own vibe.
Yeah, that's what you do. That's what it's all about. If you're going for the self-discovery route in college, which we did.
Yeah, and feel free to be inspired by other people, too.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone pretty much copies
Totally.
Everyone pretty much copies everyone else anyway.
Yes.
So that's another thing that I think is so stupid.
Facts.
Is people who will think that, like, people who still, like, in, this day and age, like, complain about people, like, copying their style or something like that, like...
Or when a new horror movie comes out and they're like, oh, well, that's, like, kind of like, The Shining. It's like...
Right.
Well, was it The Shining? No, then it's different. I mean, of course. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
no.
Everybody copies everybody.
Yeah. Everything is inspired by everything else.
Yes, everything is inspired by
something else. Yeah.
That's why we can't explain the beginning of the universe, or that's why a lot of people can't explain God.
Yeah.
Fully.
Yeah.
So it's like, because it is just difficult to say that everything came from nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Not even saying that I do or don't believe in God. God's just a good example of like,
Mm-hmm.
God is a whole controversial thing because what did God copy? Well, supposedly God is, the divine start.
Right.
You know,
Right.
just the
God
life,
is
like life, where does it come from? Whereas, we know what we're descended from and we know what that was descended from and we're copying each other.
Right.
Everything is a progression, everything's an evolution.
Yeah. Yeah. And what else was
Style is an evolution. Your own style is an evolution, and you will be copying other people to find your own thing.
Yeah. And will people, like, feel a certain way about how you look? Maybe. A lot of the time, no. But I mean,
a lot of the
I
time,
think,
they wish that they would just.
yeah, a lot of the
They're
time,
jealous.
any bitterness that you catch from people will often be a weird, like, internalized self, an internalized insecurity of, like,
I'm sorry, I gotta get apple pie. I can't stop thinking.
Go ahead. I just find that, yeah, a lot of times, people will just be kind of bitter about not having that kind of lack of restraint themselves, because I've definitely, in college, basically I just kind of wanted to allow myself to dress in a way that was less conservative. The way I used to dress before college, and not even before college, like leading up into the first year of college. First year of college, I was still pretty, in high school, I started wearing dark eye makeup more because that was really the only way I could express myself because I went to a Catholic school and I had to wear a uniform with a skirt down to the knees and what have you. So I couldn't really fully express myself. I couldn't dye my hair, could barely wear, nail polish. So I chose to express myself by wearing dark eye makeup. And oh yeah, like I certainly, as that started already getting people, friends' parents would just be like, why do you have to wear the makeup all the time? Why do you have to wear so much makeup all the time? And, basically being criticized for wearing like nighttime makeup during the daytime was something that I caught a lot of criticism for a lot of the time. But, you just, if you just know why you're doing it and you just remind yourself, like, I'm just doing this look because I like it and because I know what I'm trying to attain, then there's nothing to really explain yourself. Like, there's nothing you need to be insecure about. There's nothing that you need to, like, explain to anybody else. You just know why you're doing it. And then, yeah, like, out of high school, leading into first year of college, I wasn't really dressing that edgy yet. I was finally able to not wear a uniform around, so I was kind of honestly pretty uncomfortable now that I think of it with just the idea of, like, oh gosh, now I have to, like, wear my everyday clothes and people get to see, like, my everyday outfits. That's uncomfortable. What do I wear? And I would just kind of wear blue jeans and, like, t-shirts, like my college t-shirt and just some, like, low top shoes or something, and that was just kind of how I dressed. It was not really remotely alternative. It was pretty normal. I still wear, like, my eyeliner and whatnot, my kind of darkish eye makeup, but my clothes had yet to catch up to what I really wanted, and I've pretty much since middle school, or honestly maybe earlier, I've always been drawn to, like, darker clothing and darker aesthetics and style and whatnot. No one subculture in particular or anything, just what the blanket term alternative. just covers it, I guess. And I didn't really get to start dressing like that until I got with him. Just because he inspired me to just, to take more risks, basically, and to just go after what I really wanted, and to be honest with myself about what I really wanted. And so, because of him, I ordered a lot of new clothes from online. I was actually just talking about how being with you kind of inspired me to start dressing how I really wanted to dress.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, because...
I was a little edgelord in college.
Yeah.
Still am.
And that's what kind of started to inspire me, especially when we got together. Yeah, I think, like, right up until we were dating, like, right before we started dating, I was kind of, like, skatery about my outfits.
Yeah, I suppose baggy pants.
Yeah, I was very, like, baggy pants, baggy sweats, crop tops kind of person.
Combat boots.
And combat boots. And that was me starting to move into what I wanted, but it wasn't quite there yet, because I did want more, like, of a polished alternative look. And then when we got together, you introduced me to AliExpress.
Right.
And I was able to see, like, holy shit, I could actually order, like, a spiked choker, I could actually order, like...
For how much it should cost?
Yeah, pretty much.
Right.
I could finally order chokers and fishnets of any color that I want, and, like, fishnet gloves, and, like, fingerless gloves, and I can order, like, whatever crop tops I wanted, and just all the accessories, the chains, the belts, just anything that I was previously just fantasizing about, because I would daydream about how I wanted to look all the time, and I think a lot of people do, and I think a lot of people don't like themselves and how they look, because in their mind they've got this image of, like, how they wish that they looked.
But you're supposed to, like, fight or reject. I say fuck it, accept it. If you want a six-pack?
Go after it, yeah.
Get a six-pack, unless you want it for, like, the wrong reasons, but, like...
That was another aspect of my appearance that I wanted to attain that I've only really started to go after in this last semester of college leading up to now, is I've wanted to be more muscular. And I've finally been able to, like, start consistently working out and seeing muscle growth, and I've been eating more protein and stuff like that. And it does help. If it's attainable, if you have an image for yourself that's reasonably attainable, then, I mean, go after it. Like, by all means, like, and, that creates, like, questions, I guess, about, like, plastic surgery and stuff like that. I would put that, like, last on the list of, like, things you can control. Just
right.
Because, like, for one, it costs so much money, and for two, I mean...
And it's not a reflection of good health.
Right, yeah.
And sometimes a six-pack isn't either, so, there are lines that can be drawn.
Right. Yeah, no, I
But
think...
especially with regards to fashion, like, no, fucking...
Yeah,
just
absolutely.
So you want. And fitness, too, and fitness.
If it would make you... There's so much power in just learning that, wow, I can have a pair of jeans that really fit me. I can have a shirt that really fits me. And finding clothes that really fit you, like, fit you. Not, like, baggy, but, like fitting.
Which is why you should take your
You know?
own measurements and
Yes.
shop based off of measurements.
And shop based
not
off
off
your
of
measurements.
U.S. sizes.
That's right.
Shop based off measurements.
That's right. Most of department stores are not my friend, and they made
me neither.
think that I had the worst body on earth, because it's like everything I wear looks like crap, and I look so bad, And I mean, like, if you like baggy clothes, that's one thing. Then you're probably fine, and you probably like how you look in baggy clothes. But I mean, a lot of people wear baggy clothes and, like, really hate how they look. And don't really realize, I think, that, you know, you'll feel so much better about yourself if you actually find some clothes that fit you. You know.
Oh yeah, man.
That was me. I really didn't. I thought I was too skinny. I thought I was too skinny for most clothes, and then I finally found clothes that actually fit, and it made a world of a difference in my confidence, like, immediately.
And it makes you look bigger too. It makes you.
It does.
When clothes fit.
It just so happens to make me look bigger because my clothes aren't swallowing me, and they're just like fitting.
Right.
You know.
So yet again, your body isn't wrong, and you don't deserve to wear clothes that make your body wrong. Find clothes that fit.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think everyone deserves to, if it's attainable. Basically, on the topic of, like, going after an image that you kind of want to have, or, an appearance, I always think of the Serenity Prayer, oddly.
Ooh, what is that?
It goes like, Lord, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference between the things that you can't change and can change. It's a good one.
We're gonna come off as so religious.
I know.
We're not religious.
I went to Catholic school, so I know a lot of and stuff.
We fuck with the good parts of the religion. We're cherry pickers.
Yeah.
But because we're cherry pickers, that's why we don't identify as Christian.
Yeah.
Because we cherry pick the things that we like about it and the things we don't like about it.
Yeah. Yeah. I was never one to go to church, for instance. Not on my own. Just when school forced me to.
Gay marriage should be legal.
And yes.
It's not up for argument.
And yes, of course.
It's literally just. Yeah, and being any LGBTQ, whatever you are, it's not up for argument whether it's valid. It's 100% valid.
Yeah, and it's
whatever
not
you identify
sinful.
with. And it's not sinful.
Yeah.
And it's valid.
Yeah. So.
That much can just immediately be said with no argument.
Yeah. But yeah, no, in relation to, like, changing one's appearance, I always think of the Serenity Prayer just because, like, yeah, change the things that you can. If you're, like, struggling with your self-image and whatnot, with your weight one way or another, if you feel like you don't like being at, if you'd like to be smaller or you'd like to be, bigger, within, of course, within, a healthy, a healthy threshold, by all means, go for it, work out or, eat more or do whatever you need to do. If you can get to it, then try and get to it. If you actually think that it would make you feel better, and it's something that you can reasonably control, if it would make you feel better to dress, in whatever the type of style that you may want, if it would make you feel better about yourself,
especially sexy clothes, and you shouldn't be ashamed of wanting to look sexy. You should never be ashamed of that.
And I wanted that in college, and I started going after that in college, and I did get, I did get looks and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
I did get, kind of critical, response for that. But
and
I was happier with myself. Right. So it didn't matter. It didn't matter. It you become your own reinforcement.
Be the person you want to be, and be the inspiration that you didn't have. That's what I always say.
Yeah. No, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, be the person you want to be. Change however you can, whatever you want to do it. And yeah, that kind of circles back around to the whole becoming an adult point. That's just been a big part of my transformation, and big part of a reason why I'm way more comfortable right now.
Being an adult's better than being a kid.
It is.
I always looked forward to being an adult, and even though it comes with its struggles, I'm new to adulting.
Yeah.
So, it's not easy, but was being a new kid easy? No, you were crying and puking and tripping on shit, but there's like that sweet spot in the middle of childhood. See, I'm coming up on that sweet spot in the middle of adulthood, and I think we both are. Except unlike childhood, we're allowed to drive.
Yeah. Yeah.
And move.
You know.
And go to bed when we want, and cook our own healthy food and not have to eat what's available. That's a whole other topic we talk about all the time. Like, we don't miss childhood.
Yeah, no.
Are you kidding?
Yeah, no. I mean, like, people will miss the lack of responsibility, but with that comes a lack of agency that's very...
Well said.
You know, it just makes you very vulnerable, and you just kind of have to leave it up to, you know, God forbid you don't have the best parents.
Yeah,
you know?
Or just the best adults in charge of you when you're at school.
Yeah. Or the best
It's
educators.
definitely my case.
Yeah.
You know, I had some horrible teachers who really made me feel like a piece of shit at a young age.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of kids go through that.
And you just don't have power when you're a kid, and that's a damn shame.
Yep.
And a lot of us bring that into our adulthood, and I'm like, no, you got to take a hard line. I always tell my friends my age and younger, like, just because you're young doesn't mean that you should take shit. Like, don't take shit.
Yeah.
Take criticism, yeah, but don't take shit.
Yeah.
Don't let people mock you just because they're older than you. I don't stand for that at all.
Yeah, no.
Ever.
Yeah.
I don't care about these 30-something-year-old neighbors trying to mock me when I tell them that their party is really inappropriate and loud and rude.
Yeah.
You know, just because they're in their 30s and I'm in my 20s, it doesn't mean that I take shit for it. Not if they're going to give me shit and actually, like, mock me. Like, fuck you. I'm an adult, too. I'm a grown-up. I'll call the cops.
I know.
We're all grown-ups here.
Yeah, when
Don't
you're
take
a kid,
shit.
When you're a kid, you can get in trouble for, like, fighting back against bullies. I mean, for God's sake.
Right.
You know,
they train you to take shit.
The
so then, and it's just the same thing as that's all fucking school trains you to.
Yeah.
It trains you to show up, dead eyes glazed over, dead inside to your bullshit job and not ask questions. Because you ask questions, you get punished. You stand up for yourself, you get punished. You fight back against your bully, you get in just as much trouble as the bully. They're preparing you to show up to your bullshit fucking job.
Yeah.
Your bullshit 9 to 5 that you hate, where you just get pushed around all day.
Yeah. No, a lot of childhood discipline that they teach is really just teaching passivity. You know, and it's just so the teachers can have an easier time maintaining control over
and
the
so
classroom.
your managers in your jobs when you get an adult out of school, and so your managers can have passive employees that they don't have to deal with, and managers don't have to take responsibility when something goes wrong. They'll just blame their employees.
Right.
Or make you out to be the one at fault. You know?
Right.
That's all it's preparing you for. You know?
Yeah.
I just get really emotional about that shit. If you're watching this, don't take shit.
I agree.
Even if you're a little kid, don't just take shit. And if you're a little kid, you might not know the difference yet.
Yeah.
Between taking shit and taking criticism, there's a difference.
Yeah, no. You can usually tell. When you can't really tell what you did wrong, you're probably
typically
taking
just
shit.
Yeah.
You know? When you really are trying to figure out what you possibly could have done, you're probably just getting shat on for a good reason.
Right. The best is when you stand up for... One of the most common responses you'll get when you stand up for yourself when somebody's just busting your ass over a dumb mistake about, you know, picking the wrong straw size at your bullshit fast food job where you're handing off a soft drink.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody's just picking on you and just really, like, digs at you.
Yeah.
It makes it feel weirdly personal or like a big deal.
Yeah.
Just say, like, yo, I get it. I know that this size drink has this straw. I really did just reach for the wrong thing. Don't think I don't understand. They'll just go, oh, I'm just giving you shit. They love that.
Yeah.
They love that. And yeah, that's my response.
You know?
Then don't. Then just don't give me shit.
Yeah. How about you give me criticism when it's needed, and
Yeah.
the rest of the time you keep your mouth shut?
These insecure fucking 30-something-year-old college degree holding middle managers who just think that they're such hot shit with their $14 an hour middle managing job.
Yeah.
They're the fucking worst.
They're just power trippy.
They're just power trippy.
And a lot of teachers
not the
growing up
power
are like that,
tripping, yeah.
unfortunately. And when you're a kid, you can do nothing about it.
You can do nothing about it. So then when you get your job at McDonald's or Wendy's or Starbucks or Earthbound or wherever, and you have those power tripping middle managers, you're used to it.
Yeah.
And you think that, okay, well, this is what I was prepared for. I'm just going to take shit now. Don't.
Yeah.
Don't take shit. Ironically, they will respect you more if you stand up to them. They'll be like, oh, look at this guy. He doesn't take shit. And then you'll go up. And then you go, fuck you. I don't want to go up in your fucking company.
Right.
I want to sell fucking embroidered seashells for a living before I fucking...
And then they'll ask for less favors from you.
Yeah, then they ask for less favors because they know that you're not a pushover, but then they'll always find that pushover employee. Don't be that pushover employee. Well, Jeff, are you saying that somebody has to be a pushover employee just like how some people have to be homeless and some people have to starve to death? No, I'm not saying that. I say, why don't none of y'all be pushover employees? And then your middle manager will realize how dumb they are with their power trips.
You know.
Coming up on an hour, that's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
I like an hour of talking.
Me too.
I like it to be like a short movie.
Me too. Yeah.
No movies are an hour long though. I feel like movies are like 50 minutes long,
Yeah.
or they're like an hour 20. I feel like an hour is such a shitty length.
Yeah, no.
Well, hey, it's a shitty video. It's our first video ever.
An hour for a video isn't bad. No, a lot of podcasts are an hour long. Oh. It's like a puppy.
My third eye hurts from all this spiritual growth.
Oh, I'm sorry. Can nurse it.
Yeah. Well, because I experience everything that you experience, just because that's how we are.
Yeah.
So this whole school thing and this whole new development of this whole new woman you're becoming now,
Yeah.
it's affecting me. It's very spiritual.
Yeah,
Maybe we're gonna take time just alone off camera to talk about it.
probably. Yeah. Alrighty.
Yep. Thanks for watching this first time.
Yeah.
We'll fucking roll this whenever we feel like it. I don't
Pretty
think there's much rhyme or reason.
Yeah.
I think we just have stuff to talk about, and some people could use information that we know and talk about.
Yeah.
We are in a position of knowledge in the sense that we do a lot of self-development and reflecting
Yeah.
and observing other people,
Yeah.
and we also live in an environment with a lot of really fucked up people, and
Yeah.
we've just kind of observed it and learned a lot about the human condition, so to speak.
Yeah. Yeah. So, if you're just an observant person who just likes conversation and stuff, then this might appeal to you.
Yeah.
We just like talking, basically. We both like talking and talking about the things that we observe, and that's pretty much the reason why we do this right now.
Yeah, that's why we're trying to do it. I mean, I figured that we could just help people, and you can definitely be part of the conversation. Drop a comment.
Yeah.
I presume, especially in these early videos, we're going to be reading comments since it'll be your mom and like probably 2 other people.
Probably.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah. So drop a comment and we'll respond to that shit.